Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob Walters. He's Brett Grasso. This is Locked Up Sports Live Sunday NFL pregame show. We got about 50 minutes to kick off Week 18. Brett, what's up? How you doing?
This is it, man. Last week of the season, we got a little bit figured out, but not everything. Big game tonight with the Vikings and Lions. Jets and Giants going to, get their picks straightened out. We'll see whether the Giants screw it up again or the Jets keep losing. This is nice. Love it.
I think the Giants got to fire their coach, and I don't think they're going to. Because you know what, the Giants are going to win today.
I don't think they are.
The Giants are going to win today too because Saquon is playing. Saquon's playing, but he's not playing at all. Oh, he's not playing at all. Okay.
It's even worse for the Giants.
Yeah,
but it's worse for the Giants.
It doesn't matter. He
didn't
break the record.
The Giants had a shot with Saquon playing because it would have probably been like 14-3 Eagles at half if Saquon was playing for 100. He would have hit the 100, and the Giants would have still lost. Now, I am very worried. The Eagles are playing nobody.
They're playing their third string quarterback.
The Giants are in trouble. The Giants are in trouble in a way of winning today. Because this is a horrible thing to watch as a fan. It's one of the worst things you can deal with. Is like you always want to see your team win. We talked about this in the last episode, but now all of a sudden you're like, it hurts your franchise. It could set your franchise back years. I truly don't believe Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward is that type of person that's going to do really set it forward, because you never really know whether you're going to hit on those. But you want to be in that position. You want to have that, pick. The Giants could be out of the top 5. They could be 8.
Yeah, and they're going to win today. They're going to win. So the Bengals,
tough.
It all seems to be falling into place for the Bengals. I think they need a little bit. They need a little bit of help. They need the Dolphins to beat the Jets. I'm sorry. They need the Jets to beat the Dolphins, and they need Kansas City to beat. But Kansas City's not playing anybody, and the Dolphins are without Tua, so that might help.
See. Yes, and now the Jets, again, I think the Jets could do exactly that, too. I think the Jets could win this game. I don't even want to pretend. I really hope they lose the game. I don't care about Rodgers getting his 500th touchdown, any of that stuff. All I'd rather see is the Jets have a better position to whether it be to trade back, because now they need draft capital because we gave away our 1 draft pick for Devontae Adams. If we're looking to build, we need draft pick and capital, too. Not for a specific guy, but to more or less be in a better position.
The Jets interviewed Vrabel. They're going to interview Rex.
And a couple GMs this week, Louis Riddick from ESPN, which is all garbage.
Which is weird. Why do they get these TV analysts? Are they going to be calling us in a couple years, Brett, to be GM of these teams or what?
I think they're looking to bring in a specific coach. If they can get a Vrabel or a Gruden, like we talked about, or some maybe even Rex again, and then they're looking for someone a GM who's willing to just accept what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's 2 different ways of doing it, as opposed to a GM who says, this is my whole thing, this is what I did. The problem is the GM then, is it really his team?
No, because he's not going to be involved hiring the coach. The Jets are doing it backwards. They're doing it backwards.
They always. That's the way they do it. Always. So
but the Bengals... Now, I think forget about the Jets. The Jets might beat Miami. The Jets might be Miami without Tua, right? They got what is it? Who's playing Huddle? Is that his name or whatever? Is the quarterback going to be for Miami? Huntley. And so the Jets could win this game. The Jets aren't a terrible team. They could win this game, and then if Denver can somehow lose to Kansas City, that's going to be the problem for the Bengals. Is Kansas City's not playing anybody? The game's in Denver, and Denver has to win.
See, now listen, they're playing Carson Wentz, who is perfectly fine at being at a quarterback on a good team. He's like a classic, almost similar to, I don't want to say similar to Sam Darnold, but in a situation where you put him on a good team, he's going to be a lot better than when he's on a bad team. The backups on Kansas City are better than most of the bad teams in the league. I like guys who have been sitting around all year, and this is their one opportunity to prove to another team that they should be playing next year. A lot of these guys are playing for contracts that are the backups for Kansas City. So I truly believe that they come up, and I would take Kansas City in the points, which I believe is at like 11 or 12, plus 11 or 12 right now, Kansas City. I would take that all day. I think Kansas City might win this game outright. I think there's a shot at the Bengals making the playoffs today.
Oh, I hope so. They're going to be dangerous. If they can make the playoffs, they can be dangerous.
That game's going to be close. That Kansas City game's going to be close. Unless they totally roll over at the end, Andy Reid's going to have a good game plan. Carson Wentz is going to have a good game. DeAndre Hopkins needs a touchdown as the Kansas City's receiver to go over to make like $1 million. I'm telling you, I understand other guys. It's their line, their backup line is better than a regular line. Just don't be surprised that Kansas City covers, if not wins today.
Yeah, but covering doesn't help the Bengals. The Bengals need them to win. And
no, you're right. But I'm just thinking because I got them on cover.
Watch Kansas City. Watch Kansas City win, and then the Jets end up blowing it somehow. That could very well happen too. Needing 2 games is tough, and especially when the 2 teams that are playing, it really doesn't matter anything.
See, when you said the Jets blow it, I meant, to me, that's the Jets winning. So I don't understand. It's like the opposite. I'm a Jets fan. The Jets blowing it today would just be the Jets winning. Now, you're right. For the Bengals, the Jets blowing it is the Jets losing. But I don't know. I think the Jets have a chance of getting blown out also. I have no idea.
Yeah, they do. They do have a chance to get blown out because Miami's not
everybody, but they have everybody on a team that was supposed to be good. Like they have had a couple good performances. Miami is good if Tua is in and everybody's into it. But, and they're on the chance of making the playoffs too. So Miami's in the same scenario. Now, if Miami wins and Denver loses, Miami's going to the playoffs.
Yeah, Denver's the only one that controls their own destiny as far as the AFC playoff goes.
Yeah.
They're the only one. Now, tonight, we got a big one for the number 1 seed. It could determine who goes to the Super Bowl. It really does because you got the Lions hosting the Vikings. The Sunday night game, the winner gets the 1 seed. The loser goes on the road next week to play a road playoff game. And, that's a huge difference, Now, I'm going to be rooting for the Lions, but I think the Vikings could very well come in there and steal this thing.
Do you know they're calling it like the biggest regular season game ever played?
It's not.
That's what I said. I was like, this is ridiculous. They'll hype it. It's like the local weather when there's a storm coming in. Like, you guys are out of your minds.
The biggest snowstorm ever, and then you get 2 inches.
Right. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just it's hard to bet against the Vikings right now. They're just playing so good. I really think the Lions are going to win. I think they're supposed to win. I think there's more pressure on the Lions to win, though, which is always a tough thing. I think we're going to have the Dan Campbell factor, just like we had last week, even with him going for it on every 4th down, no matter what, is going to play into the game.
That's what worries me about this is because I'd be worried about Dan Campbell because he's the X factor in this, and he could blow the whole thing wide open and screw the whole thing up.
He proved it. He's proven it last week. He's running in a game that didn't really matter to them either way last week. Didn't have much, they didn't have to go in. Either way, this game tonight was going to be the game that mattered. And he's out there running like fake punts and reverses and what was he? What did he run? The hook and ladder.
Hook and ladder. Worked to perfection.
But you don't run those in those games because that's what you want to save for the game that matters.
Yeah, but he does run those.
They
have a million of those. They have a million plays.
That's his whole game plan. No, every other coach would be like, oh, no, we're going to run that once. No, that's all the time that's coming from him, which is very good psychologically as a coach, like, because you don't know what's coming for the other team, with him. But you're right. It's going to bite him. It's going to bite him in the ass at one point this season.
Yeah,
it really is.
And it's going to be and now if it happens, since it hasn't bitten him in the ass yet, now when it happens, it's going to be the most important part of the season. Because now, did you see this? Did you see this? The Vikings purchased 1,000 tickets off of, I guess, StubHub or something like that, off the secondary market. Then they offered them to for I think it was $100 a piece. Maybe they're offering to their season ticket holders at $100 a piece. What do you, and they're behind. Now, first of all, where'd they get the tickets for $100 on the secondary market? I haven't looked, but I bet if I looked, it would be an expensive ticket, right? You'd think this is a tough ticket. How'd they get 1,000 of them? And they bought them behind the Vikings bench. They're obviously gonna have 1,000 people in there. That's a ballsy thing. I like that though. I like a team that does that because it shows they're not about the money. They're trying to get people there in the stadium to try and drown out a little bit of the line.
You should be taking every advantage you can, and you pay big money for players for an advantage. Why wouldn't you pay big money to have your, the advantage of your players come? You should be paying. Honestly, these NFL teams should have on their roster fans. You should have fans on your roster, and we should start a team right now. This is the beginning. Like, I want to be on the Jets roster. Bring me to the away games. Put me with the crowd. I'll get you a whole section. I'm not I want you paying for everything. I want the hotel. I want the transportation. I want to
Yeah, but anybody can. They can do. They don't need you to get the whole section filled. Look, they just fired Fireman Ed, right? They don't put him on the big board, and look what happens now. He's the cause of the storm.
I make sure things run right, Bob. I make sure things run right in that section. You got a section leader, and you got to listen. I'm telling you, this should happen.
You
they
get
do
drunk
it like
by the second quarter, and
they make you pay. They do like 7-line army for the Mets, and they but that's like you got to pay for your ticket, you got to pay for your travel, you got to pay for the whole. No. I'm the Met. I'm a Met.
Hey, 7-line army. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's 7-line army.
But it's the opposite. But no, the Mets or Steve Cohen need to be like, no, you're right, Brett. Tampa's going to be empty. I'm filling it with all the Mets fans. We're coming from New York for every game. Every game, we're bringing 5,000 strong.
To every road game.
I'm paying. Make it 1,000.
Now, this is like I said, it's a huge game. It's a huge game because it's. Now, I think it's more important for the Lions because the Lions they're so much better at home. They're 10 points better at home. They don't play as well on the road, although they did go into San Francisco last week and win that game, and they seem to play hard, like you said, a bunch of trick plays. Tonight, I don't know though. The Lions have some injuries to deal with, right? The Vikings are red hot. The Lions have been the best team all year. Up until about 2 weeks ago, the Lions have been unstoppable. They've been the number one team, favored to win the NFC, favored to go to the Super Bowl. Now, my favorite right now is Kansas City because I just think they hit their stride. But as far as the NFC goes, the Vikings are red hot. They're obviously all about Sam Darnold and everything like that. When you saw the locker room celebration last week, it's going to be a hell of a game tonight. This is a huge game. I don't know about biggest ever like they're talking about because both teams are going to the playoffs. But to go from the 1 seed by home field.
Do you know the last time that the last week came down to a division rivals and it being the 1 seed, like coming down to winner loser? Winner takes the 1 seed, loser doesn't. And it was 1991. Who do you think it was? You should know. Giants, Cowboys.
In 91. The year they won the Giants won the Super Bowl? Yeah, it was the year the Giants won the Super Bowl because it was Super Bowl 25.
Right. So Giants, Cowboys, that was the one. It was the Emmitt Smith.
But they lost. They must have known.
Emmitt Smith separates his shoulder game.
No, it can't be 91 then. It had to be 91, 92 then. 91, 92. Because 90, the Giants won the NFC Championship game in San Francisco. That was where Roger Craig fumbled.
I'm not sure which way it even played out. All I know is that's the last time that it came down to the last two guys in the final week.
Okay.
Whether or not it's 91.
Yeah, I remember the Emmitt.
It's been a long time, and that's what they say is this hasn't, this doesn't happen. It's a.
But that's why the NFL switched it up a couple of years ago. They now have they're all division games this week. And if you look at
it needs to be, yeah.
It's all division games, and yesterday was the whole North. You had Baltimore blowing out Cleveland, which was expected, and you had the Bengals beating the Steelers. And talk about limping into the playoffs. The Steelers have lost 4 in a row.
Steelers stink.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are not as. I think they think they're better than they are. I think Russell Wilson's come back down to earth. Completely come back down to earth.
They're an average team with a great game plan. With Russell Wilson, who was playing out of his mind, throwing deep balls to Pickens, and then you watch Pickens drop every ball last night, all over the field. Russell Wilson was not accurate on some of the deep balls that were even open. That team, they're a one-trick pony, and when you figure out how to defend that, and a good coach with a good scheme and a good team will do that, especially in the playoffs. You know what? They're exposed, and they don't have another thing to go. They can't just open up the passing game. They run, and opens up the play action. Without the run, you got nothing. So, you know what? And their defense is great, but they were been exposed. They honestly didn't play great. And the Bengals defense all of a sudden steps up for the first time all year and starts to play D, which kept them in that game because the Bengals missed tons of opportunities where they should have won that game by 3 or 4 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah, they cut it close.
The Steelers were a lot worse than they looked. The Steelers were very lucky they even had. Yeah, no, very shouldn't have been that way at all. Let me tell you, there are a lot of opportunities and even fumble on the kick, the punt at the end of the game. It was a very entertaining game. Bengals have been great. They won out to get here. Joe Burrow would be the MVP or right up there if he, his team was able to make the playoffs, or maybe if they had a little bit of a better run early, but it's not going to happen now. It's just, look at Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. Without Josh Allen, the Bills don't even have it. Name 3 other guys on the Bills that aren't Von Miller. Good luck.
Yeah, and listen, the Bills. No, you don't think the Bills are any good?
No, I'm saying the Bills are the Josh Allen is the hands down MVP, and the Bills. I'm saying the Bills don't have anybody, and they're great. I'm saying Josh Allen is the reason they're great more than anybody.
But the Bills are better
above anybody else in the league, and he should be the MVP. I don't know if the Bills again. Their defense has been soft, just like most teams. Soft defenses this year. We're gonna see a lot of points in these playoffs, man. I see a lot of points coming.
Now, who do you think is more dangerous? The Bucks if they get in, the Rams, the Ravens, or the Bengals if they get in?
Oh, that's a tough one because that's a toss up to me between anything. It's the Bucks and Bengals.
The Bucks and Bengals will be dark horses. Those are dark horses kind of teams that don't expect, but they're coming in hot.
See, the thing is, they shouldn't be. The Bucks shouldn't be. The Bucks are scoring 40 or 50 whenever they want to. Their defense isn't the best, but they're better than the other defenses that we're watching. And all they have to do is keep a team to 30 and they win. So the Bucks are the one. The thing is, you added the Bengals in. I don't think the Bengals are making the playoffs, so I think it's the Bucks. But if the Bengals make the playoffs, I think you're going to see it streaking from both ends.
But the Bucks aren't in yet either. The Bucks need to win today. I think they will, but
no, the Bucks are going to win by 4 touchdowns today. The Bucks are going to absolutely annihilate the Saints today. Mike Evans, he's one who's on your. So here's a couple incentives for guys. So it might be good for placing a couple bets. Mike Evans, 5 catches, 85 yards for like $1 million. You're going to want to take that. Geno Smith, over 185 yards today for $1 million. DeAndre Hopkins on the Kansas City, who isn't supposed to be playing. Watch. He comes in for 1 touchdown today. 1 touchdown, 9 catches for like $2 million. So Von Miller, sack. Cortland Sutton, Denver, over 82 yards. You're going to see a lot of Cortland Sutton today. Watch. These guys, every single time
those odds on those things. The bookmakers know about that too.
They are. No. Most of them are, you're going to have to get, it's going to be but it's not crazy. Like some of the guys like Hopkins, you're getting big money, plus 350 because they're like, we don't even know if he's playing. See, Hopkins for a touchdown, plus 350 today.
But still, that's fair. But as far as going into the playoffs now, when you look at the Bucks, because that's gambling. Listen, I hit for $900 last week. I hit on one of those stupid things, a field goal.
And honestly, and we'll finish any gambling talk after that. Is the bet that's tonight, and is your bet that you won last week? I believe is tonight.
Field goal Vikings. No, I got 1 rushing and 1 passing touchdown in each half by each team.
Touchdown each half, each team tonight. Lions versus Vikings. I hit
900. I hit 900 on a $10 bet.
Lions 100% are doing that. At least they will be going. Now, again, do all those touchdowns get scored? I'm saying there's the best shot of the week is there.
Yeah, it's obviously long odds. If I won 900 on a $10 bet.
The Bucks are the sleeper, man. That offense is great. I really think they make a deep run into the playoffs. Depending on you don't want to play them. And
I would agree with you only because I think the NFC is not as strong. I think the top teams, I think Detroit could get picked off easier than say Kansas City. Now I think the Bengals, if they could get in somehow, they could go to the Super Bowl. They could go to they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl because they're a good team with a quarterback that's red hot. The team is red hot. And a lot of times, listen, look at the Giants. A lot of times it takes a red hot team to go.
I think that their defense is going to have a really hard time versus the Ravens, and they're going to have a really hard time versus the Bills. And that's happening like pretty soon if they make their way in. So that's where I would honestly see it would be a little tough. But you are exactly right. Nobody wants to play the Bengals if they get in. Look at it right now. The Bengals, they just won 5 games in a row. Winning 5 games in a row right now gets you a Super Bowl ring. Yeah, they're a good team right now who's just really bad early. They have an MVP who would be the MVP if their team wasn't terrible this year. And so let me tell you, you're exactly right. I'd be more scared if the Bengals sneak in, but the Bucks on the NFC side, they are pretty much going to get in. I'm telling you, they're going to win today. They're going to get in. They are going to win at least 1 game, and whoever plays them in that who got a bye week game, something like that, or in that second week, good luck, because you're probably getting beat by the Bucks. You're gonna have to put up 40 points to win that game.
Now, the Steelers come in just limping in. Like we said, 4 straight losses. I don't think they're as good as they are, but they're also another team coming limping in is a division winner, and it's the Texans. They haven't played well at all lately.
And
they're
nobody's
in a
really
bad
been talking
division.
about them. Yeah.
Nobody's talking about them.
No. And CJ Stroud, man, like I've watched, he plays good ball. He's had such a good. You know what it is? They had guys who got hurt, who are out hurt.
Yeah, they ran into the Chiefs.
Injured.
They had a tough schedule too.
Right. So they were playing hot. They were hot early, and same thing. Just I don't know, man. They're another sleeper.
I think they're better than the Steelers. I think the Steelers might go there, or they might go to San Diego. So if I were the Steelers, I don't think the Steelers are winning either of those games. Does this affect the way you look at Mike Tomlin? The way dropping 5? They would lose 5 in a row if they lose next week in the playoffs. It would be
the only reason that's a stat is because he got mediocre teams to the playoffs. The only other stat would be Mike Tomlin didn't make the playoffs for 5 years in a row. The stat is that he lost all the games or hasn't won one in this long for a playoff game because he's so freaking good. So I don't even know. You give that guy a franchise quarterback with the defense he has and a receiver who isn't a total, diva over there with George Pickens. You got that guy's amazing, man. You don't even need a running back. You have a running back. So honestly, I think Mike Tomlin's the best thing that's ever happened in Pittsburgh. If you lose him, that franchise might have no chance.
So now, as far as the games that don't matter, there are some things like coaches on the hot seat. Giants, Eagles. Is this the last game for Dable? I hope it is. God, I hope it is. They got to fire him, but they're not going to, right?
It is not. It is not. The ownership's kind of made that clear that they're sticking with Joe Shane and Dable. I don't know if that's 100% true, or maybe they're lying through their teeth.
They've been saying it. They could be lying, though.
No. I know. No, that's what people do. They want to see what they can get out of somebody, or see what. And does this game?
Or
have
they
any
could just
effect
change their mind, right? Because he played like crap.
Does this game have any effect on that?
No. I think I don't know. You know what? I don't know. Because to me, I don't see how you
direction.
To me, I don't see how you bring him back.
The opposite.
I don't see how you bring him back because they've been so bad. Last week it came out of nowhere. I'm firing him. I would have made the decision in my head to fire him 3 weeks ago.
If you're Mara, do you want him to lose this game?
Yes.
Are you mad if he wins it?
No. You're not mad if he wins, but you do want him to lose the game. Are you
happier if he loses it with the guy, if he works out a way to lose it?
Because I don't expect him to. No. Here's the thing. I want them to lose.
In any way.
If I'm Mara, I want you to lose.
Pull guys.
I don't want you to throw the game. And I can't ask you to throw the game. I can't, as ethically, as a sports person, I can't ask you to throw the game. Coaches care about their record. These players, this is their profession.
Not throwing the game, pulling guys late. Like, it's a close game. But
he's not. No, I don't want him to do that, and he's not going to do that.
You're all the way back, like really, like guys who've never touched the field are on.
Yeah,
is that
no?
You don't want that?
Because first of all, if he does, because I want my coach to be a competitor and to win always every time he goes out.
If that's going to lose him his job?
No, yeah, but it's not going to. You ask me if I'm Mara. If I'm Mara, I'm not doing that.
You know what? Does he think this? If I don't get in that spot, if I win this game, it pushes us away so far from Sanders. It's not a new regime we need.
I tell him, listen.
Do you know what I mean? Sanders almost means let's bring in a new regime.
I don't think Sanders is Peyton Manning.
No, I don't either. But whoever, let's say, forget Sanders. Whoever the next guy is, Sanders, Cam Ward, whoever that guy is, wouldn't you rather a brand new coaching thing? You don't want a guy who's got 1 foot out the door coaching a new guy. You don't want that.
You're right. But if he keeps him,
you might have 2 more years of it.
If they keep him, they got to extend him 3 years. That's fine. But if I'm Mara, if I'm
is there a better option?
If I'm Mara, here's what's happening. I'm rooting again. I want them to lose the game, but I don't want him to know that I want him to lose the game. I don't want him to try to lose the game. And if he comes to me and asks me, do you want me to lose the game? I fire him on the spot. But deep down, I want him to lose the game because it helps the team out. But you can't ask him to lose the game. I'd be pissed if he tried to lose the game. Don't be putting players in. Put your best foot forward. Try and win the game. But I want us to lose. That's the only way you could look at this, I think. Because then you're just a sham. Then the whole thing's a sham.
No, he's like, put your best foot forward when the guy's streaking down the sideline. Triple.
Yeah, and I'm not putting my best foot forward. And I'm not telling him, hey, go win the game with a wink like nothing. No, go win the game. but I'm rooting for you to lose. And I might even tell them that I want you to win. I want you to do the best you can because they have to. They're professionals. These guys are not throwing games because the guys on the field don't care about the draft pick, and the coach cares about his record. And if he comes and asks me, hey, you want me to lose this game? I'm firing him on the spot. But I do want him to lose the game. It's a weird spot to be in for the Giants. It's a weird spot for Mara. It's a weird spot for everybody. They're going to win, though, because the Eagles are playing nobody. The Eagles are putting nobody. The Eagles are trying to lose the game, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah.
Right? The Eagles, they're playing nobody.
Yes.
Third-string quarterback, never played before.
Nothing would be a more perfect season for the Eagles and everybody else for the Eagles to lose this game. It would only be the best, and I think they should have done this, if Saquon breaks the record in the first half. They celebrate for the whole second half.
No,
him
it's not. He didn't break the record. The record's over, right? The Dickerson got X amount of yards in X amount of games, he didn't do it. So the record, and they know that. They know that because why would you want to break?
They're even saying that today for the Chiefs.
Of course it is.
The Chiefs. They go. The Chiefs are going to be for the second team to ever win 16 games today.
Yeah. See, like, come on.
It's garbage. I can't.
And you know what?
It's all garbage.
And the NFL, the last thing the
NFL
NFL
needs
needs
to play for.
The last thing the NFL needs is another sham record. They got the Strahan with the sack record. You don't need any of this stuff anymore. Listen, you change up the schedule too many times. The record's over. He didn't get it. Right? He had 16 games to get it. He didn't get it. Now, the interesting stat that I saw is tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight's game.
Will Saquon be mad? I'm sorry. Will Saquon be mad if he doesn't go for it today? Right? They get bounced first round.
No, because what would that have to do?
No, it doesn't. Will he just be mad that he didn't go for it? The whole season is kind of a waste if they lose first round, right?
No, he went for it. He went for it in last week, right? He went for it. He didn't get it. He needed 200 yards. He doesn't want it. Saquon's the kind of person, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want the asterisk next to it because that's what it is. It's a straight asterisk.
No,
it's a straight asterisk. He's like a humble guy. He doesn't want it.
No, you're right.
Tonight is the most wins ever meeting in a game between two teams. The Lions and the Vikings. Most wins ever. Yeah. When you combine the two teams' wins, that I like. That's something I like. But as far as Saquon goes, no. You didn't get it.
No, tonight, because very rarely would you get this matchup where it matters. Like, usually, like, even if the two teams, like, it would be one way or the other, like, it didn't really matter as much. This matters for everything. And so we're getting, more or less, it's like almost having an extra championship game.
Yeah.
It's not quite you're not going to get quite the stuff that goes with it where you're like, oh my God, if they don't lose, everything's over. Like, it doesn't have that, it's over for the team. But it's as close as you're going to get. Like, I will give you that. I don't think it's the best regular season game ever. But I do believe, like, tonight,
it'll be a good game. It's going to be a good game.
I think
it's not. First of all, you can't say best regular season game ever. You have no idea. There's been games where one team goes to, like,
matchup. No, I think it's matchup. It's not. You don't know what the game is. You can never choose. You can never decide what the game is until it's played.
Now,
you know what I mean? Like,
and listen, it's going to get a huge rating. And speaking of ratings, I was talking.
Would you rather it be at 4?
Would you rather what?
Would you rather the game be at 4?
For selfish reasons, yes, because I have work tonight. But no, listen. And why? Well, my question is, how come? Because I know Fox and CBS, they get to protect the game, right?
Yeah.
Why would they not protect this game? Why was NBC allowed to flex this game into the night, or was it always was this the game? No, it wasn't. They flexed it 2 weeks ago. Why?
No, it was.
Why
flexed,
would Fox not?
But they may only be able to protect certain ones, or they may be able to force certain ones.
They're killing Fox and CBS.
They probably have the same way they can protect games. There's probably a couple they could force.
Fox and CBS have been with the NFL for
there's revenue
decades,
sharing
and they are
involved
just slaughtering them.
There's revenue sharing involved in that.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You want the game, right? You want the game on my network. I'm selling commercials.
How rough are the announcers? Who I don't know who it was supposed to be, but that's
it's going to be. It would be Burkhardt. It'd be Burkhardt and
Brady.
And Brady.
No, Brady.
Be the top team, or it'd be Nance and whatever. But it would be Burkhardt and Brady. It's going to be Tirico, and Collinsworth now. And Tirico's good. I like Tirico.
It's a win, so it's a win for the nation.
Yeah, but Fox doesn't care about that. Fox wants to sell the commercials.
No, you're right. Listen, there's so much money going around in that they actually were like, listen, no, we're gonna let them steal this game from you. Extra billion.
Well,
they were like,
that's how I was talking to the
extra billion.
I was talking with my buddy at work the other day, and I was trying to explain to him how big and how popular the NFL is, right? And I'm like, and he said something about like, oh well, I said regular season game is going to get bigger ratings than like the NBA Finals, and he didn't believe me, so I pulled out and I said, listen, I go, every year out of the top 100 television programs, anything on TV, television programs, anything. The NFL has about 75 of the 100. So he's like, no way. I pulled it up. First of all, the first 11, 1 through 11, is all NFL games. And it's like Thursday night, divisional playoff, championship game. Then number 12 was the presidential debate. Then it's another 6 or 7. It's literally 80 to 85 of the top 100 programs of last year are NFL games. And they're random. There's random games in there. It's like the NBA Finals, Game 4 came in 30th something.
And it's becoming more popular. And now they've as you've seen, they've made so many things and they've added the entertainment part to it. So now there's all these people who don't even care. Do you know what the biggest rated part of the NFL game, of any NFL game this year was?
What, the Beyonce?
Yeah.
Well, Beyonce had the greatest Super Bowl halftime show in a regular season game last week.
Yeah.
What do you get
Regular
Beyonce to
season
do?
Beyonce.
I mean, that's crazy.
That's what I say. You get Netflix paid. You know how much they paid for those games?
Billions.
Insane.
Billions. Well, that's the problem.
Insane.
And the NFL is getting greedy, and there's too many mouths to feed, right? They're starting now. What they're doing is they're spreading these games. They're spreading it out real thin. They got Netflix, they got Amazon, they got CBS, they got NBC, they got ESPN, they got ABC, they got Amazon Prime. And there's too many games during the week. There's too many. It's way too
London,
spread. Way too thin.
Germany, Brazil.
Yeah,
spreading across the globe.
But I don't blame them. Each one of these people are throwing them billions of dollars.
No,
each one of those people I just named is throwing them billions of dollars.
We have less access to watching the games. We get less home games. We have to go travel for.
It's not even that. It's just the game. They're playing games with 4 games. The Ravens played 3 games in 11 days. Your body's not made up to do that.
The teams that they made play on the weekend before Christmas and then play on Wednesday, the 5-day game. That's crazy, man. That's messed up.
Yeah, and they're all playoff teams. Look, it was the Chiefs, it was the Ravens.
And you know what's going to happen this is what's going to happen. There are 1 extra game added. So there will be an 18-game schedule eventually. There will be an extended extra team in the playoffs with an extra team getting a bye, most likely in the next couple of years. So it'll be back
to the 2 buys?
Right.
Too many people.
That's what I imagine.
8 in the playoffs.
But what's going to happen, you know what we're going to get? You know what comes next? Load management, like the NBA. Load management is coming next.
Maybe.
I'm telling you, it's coming. We're early season. You're not going to see these guys. They're going to early season, take it easy, see what happens. They know enough teams get in the playoffs. They know there's so many games to make up for it. They know like injuries are the biggest problem late in the year. Watch load management.
What does everybody complain about the NHL and the NBA? Right, the regular season sucks because not 1, it's too long, and 2, everybody makes the playoffs. You know how many teams make the playoffs in the NBA and the NHL? 8. You know how many teams in your thing that you just said would make it? 8. It'd be the same thing. And 17, you're just watering down the regular season.
Oh, yeah. I do think that is the right number. I do think the emphasis should start being on the playoffs more than it is the regular season with these extended, drawn-out regular seasons. The problem is they keep making the regular seasons longer in all these places anyway, and then making the playoffs longer. So it's like something's got to give. They're just shortening the preseason, and which I think is actually adds to injuries by not letting people at least gear up a little bit for the season, not to be playing games, but actually having weeks of getting prepared. But let me tell you, I really think you're right. It's going to start getting watered down. There's going to be a lot less of the superstars playing in these prime games for whatever reason. So let's, listen, I don't know, maybe we're just getting old.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, but it's too many teams. It's too many games, right? These people can't do this. My computer's gonna almost dying, so I gotta plug it in here before we do the picks. Now, what we got 10 minutes before the game, right, Brett? That's something. The other question I wanted to ask you, Mike McCarthy. Is it Mike McCarthy's last game in Dallas? Do they have? I think if they play well against Washington, I think he gets another chance. I wouldn't give him another chance, but I think he does get another chance.
One. No, he does get another chance. I think he's another one. I don't know. Do you think it's on Mike McCarthy this year? Or you think it's on their GM owner?
I think Jerry Jones just does whatever it is. Whatever he's thinking.
I don't think there's a better option there for them than Mike McCarthy. That's not some guy to start a whole new regime. Starting over is not pretty. no matter how good the coach is. Whenever your first season as a new head coach, there's always bumps in the road. You got to figure out who your OC and your DC are. You got to figure out who your quarterbacks are. It's just a lot different. So I really don't I think Mike McCarthy comes back. I think those other options like Belichick and all that stuff, which are now out the window, or something that Jerry Jones is never, ever, ever going to allow. I just don't even believe Jerry Jones would ever ever give up control enough to anybody. And I think he likes how it is. And they're going to get a lot more of the same from the Cowboys.
I like your idea. Make himself the coach, right?
I would do it. I would do it. I'm telling you, listen, if I was his age with his money and already have been the GM, and this is my last go, and who knows, at any given time you could go to sleep and not wake up at his age with his stuff. 100%. Give me at least 1 or 2 years of trying to be the coach, and what do I care? I'm not going to be around in 10, 15 years. Who cares?
Yeah, well, he's desperate. He's desperate to win one, and I don't think Mike McCarthy's winning them. I don't think he's a great coach anyway. I think he kind of rode the coattails of Rodgers in Green Bay to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're only as good as having superstar players, which, Dak, whatever way he is on,
Dak is a good quarterback. He gets a little bit on the rough end of it.
No,
he's a good quarterback. They pay him a ton of money, but whatever.
They have the pieces, but everybody's got to get paid now. You got to pay Parsons. You got to pay CeeDee Lamb. You got to go pay everybody now. And good luck doing that. They're not going to be even on the team. It's going to be a much different looking team, I think, this time next year. But
all right, so we are okay. Good.
No, man, that's it.
That's it. That's all you got.
Anymore. I'm done with the Cowboys. Right, so I don't care about the Cowboys.
We're 10 minutes to kickoff, Brett. Let's do some picks here. Final week 18. Let's see what we got. Let's start. Giants, Eagles. You want to do spread, or you want to do just winners?
With that we got to do winners because
winners.
Implications are winners.
Giants, Eagles. Who you got?
Yeah, I got the Giants. Giants on a field goal to win it for the Giants. Irony at its finest. Giants field goal kicker, which wrecked them all year.
I say Giants. I say Giants win by like 10 points. The Eagles just don't have anybody. They're not going to care. They're going to fall behind.
Walk-off kick knocking you back to like the 9.
It's cold. Pick. It's cold in Philadelphia. The Eagles are going to want to get out of there. They're going to just run the ball. Yeah. It is what it is.
And having a great time the whole time. It's going to be like a party.
Tampa Bay, New Orleans. Tampa needs the win. New Orleans comes in 5-11. The game is home. Baker Mayfield coming off one of his best games ever. Who you got?
Tampa by 30.
Yeah, I think Tampa. I think it's a little closer. I think it's a little closer. I think Tampa wins by like 2 touchdowns.
They really win by 21-24.
Now, Atlanta coming off the loss, which forced them now to not control their own destiny. Home against Carolina. Carolina's ruined a couple people's seasons. They only have 4 wins, but a couple of those wins are damaging to other teams. Carolina, Atlanta, who you got?
I think the spread there's like 8, plus 8 for Carolina. But in general, Carolina's going to win them. They're going to win overall. Like in general, Michael Penix Jr. I don't know. Maybe he does go out and go off and have a good day. But Carolina's the sleeper. They've been coming around. They've been playing good football the last few weeks. And I think Carolina wins this game.
Washington, Dallas. I think Washington goes into Dallas, wins. They're another team that could be dangerous. I don't think they're quite ready yet. I don't think they're quite ready yet to win in the playoffs. But I think they win here. They send McCarthy packing because it's going to be a big win. Washington blows out Dallas. I have it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think actually Dallas, for whatever reason, is playing a little bit better. There's no pressure, obviously, on them. I think that it's a little bit closer. I think Washington wins by a field goal over Dallas. Close game.
Can Denver win a game at home against the second string of Kansas City to make it to the playoffs, or do the Bengals get one piece of the 2 that they need? Kansas City at Denver. Who you got?
Kansas City. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz has a big day today. Kansas City, just good game plan. Denver, they just don't have the offensive firepower. Bo Nix is good, man, but I don't think he does it today. So I think the Bengals get their shot, and I think it comes down to Jets Dolphins, which we'll get.
Do the Jets do their job? Do the Jets help out the Bengals? Because it's all fallen into place. The Bengals needed a whole hell of a lot to happen over these last couple of weeks. It's all happened. They need 2 more things. You said Denver's going to beat Kansas City. They need the Jets to beat Miami at home at MetLife in front of 30,000 to 3,500 people. It's freezing out there. I didn't want to go into this game. That's not a Dolphins fan. That's crazy.
I do not want the Jets to win this game at all. I do not. and the Jets will win this game today, and possibly like it's going to be a joke. It's going to be kind of more irony. Is going to be Aaron Rodgers with a big day, the Jets going off and winning by like 2 or 3 touchdowns, and him throwing like 4 touchdowns.
This is it. This could be the last game of Aaron Rodgers' career.
There is a good chance. I don't believe that's true. I believe he pulls the I don't want to, hoping the Jets release him, and he ends up on some other scrap. But again, who's going to want him next year? It's a whole different conversation. He would end up on a mediocre team, so it's just more of the same. I think there's a very, very good chance he ends up back on the Jets next year. I think Cincinnati gets
everything that they need, and it's going to come down to this Jets game. And I think Rodgers throws a pick 6 or a big pick late, and Miami wins it. They beat the Jets. Miami goes to the playoff in that last spot in the AFC.
I would love that. I would love that, but I'd hate that for the Bengals. Like I wish there was a way. Is there there's no Jets Dolphins tie that gets the Bengals in?
The tie, no, because I think a tie gets I think a tie gets Denver in.
Tie gets them. I don't. That sucks.
Because
man. I really do want. I want to see the Bengals, but I don't want it to cost me 5 draft picks, 5 spots.
I think a tie gets that. I don't know that for sure, but that's a good question. I think a tie. I'd be funny because remember that last year. Remember 2 years ago it came down to the tie and they kicked the field goal and they were like they would both go in if there was a tie.
Same question though. Where does that tie knock the Jets down in the draft?
Yeah. That's I don't know either. That I'm not ready to do.
All
I
care about is I want the Bengals in, but the Jets not to suffer in the draft. So whatever way that works out.
It's not gonna be a tie. Chargers, LA Chargers go to Vegas to play the Raiders. 4-12. They win. They get a home game. They play Pittsburgh next week. It's a big game for the Chargers, right? I think they blow the Raiders out. I have no confidence in the Raiders winning.
No, the Raiders are checked out. Although I would like to see the Raiders win again, more influence into the Jets getting a better draft pick. So there's some factors. I would like to see the Raiders, but no, Chargers go win that game.
And then I'm going to guess a perfect score in this one. See if I can get it right. I'm going to get Baltimore 35-10 over Cleveland.
Baltimore. That's good. All right, there you go.
Did Lamar Jackson just win the MVP yesterday, or is it still? Because it was Josh Allen in the lead. I think. You think Josh Allen? They don't want to give him the third one. Is it because they don't want to give him the third one?
There's no other person on a team that is the whole team. He is everything to that team. Lamar Jackson, yes, he is a huge part. Derrick Henry is a monster. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He's the whole offense.
Quietly, the Baltimore defense, which was not very good in the beginning of the season, has slowly developed and become one of the better defenses. And we know that's what Baltimore's known for. They are now one of the better defenses in the game, and that's why Baltimore
is the only one playing good defense. Nobody else is playing good defense. So that may be what gets them through. That's what I truly believe, that Baltimore may get over the hump this year when it comes to whoever they end up playing. I think that the Bills get more of the same, where the Bills blow it in, again, whether it be versus Kansas City or Baltimore. I really believe that's going to be a recurring theme for the Bills.
Well, it's been a recurring theme, right? Is that this generation's 4 in a row?
It's going to be the equivalent of early years, not early years, but Elway, Marino. The most amazing thing you'll ever see, their prime years being wasted. Yeah, Jim Kelly's
and a little bit Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning a little bit. Peyton Manning too. Peyton Manning during his prime didn't win one.
100%. No, now again, like the Bills, this may be their best chances, and it may not be enough still. They may still fall short. I think it's the Ravens' year. I think they have gained enough experience in their losses and Lamar Jackson's like so calmly being like doing whatever he wants at this point, and having Derrick Henry, people don't understand what that does. Good luck beating this team when you're behind.
Are the Bills the 90s Knicks? Right, with the team in their conference that they can't get over.
The Bills are the 90s Bills. Like it's
no, they're not, because they didn't make the championship. They're the 90s Knicks.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. That's true. It's just such a I love it because I can't stand the Bills. I'd love to see this happen forever, where you're that great but get nothing out of it, because you got to get something. You just got to get one, and everybody will forget about everything else.
They got to get one.
I don't think it's happening. I don't believe it's Mahomes this year. I think it's Lamar Jackson's year. I think that Baker Mayfield is going to really just start going off in the playoffs, and I think we're going to have I think we have a little bit different of a thing than people expect this year. Yeah,
I don't want a Bucks Ravens.
No, I don't know if that's going to happen, because I think the Eagles are going to put up a really good fight versus them. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be good playoffs. That's all that really matters. Once my teams are out of it,
listen,
I just
it's
wanna
always
see
good play.
exciting.
The NFL always
Those
has good
wild
playoffs.
card, a couple of those last second wild card games. Come on, man, it's the best.
So,
of the year.
with a combined record of 28-4 tonight for the number 1 seed, Minnesota, with the 1,000 fans behind the bench in Detroit at Ford Field, playing the Lions. Who you got?
Yeah, Detroit, baby.
See, I want Detroit. I'm rooting for Detroit.
Dan Campbell makes some crazy play that Bob is going to hate. Bob's
but it works.
Hate
it's
it.
great.
It's the worst flavor. It will work, and it will work tonight. Will it cost him in the playoffs? Probably. But tonight, and he will expose. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming.
I'm taking
Yes,
the
Bob.
Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings. I'm rooting for Detroit, but I think the Vikings are hot. I think Sam Darnold is just on some kind of magical ride here. I think Detroit has injuries that they're not going to be able to overcome. I'm taking the Vikings tonight to get the 1 seed, and then Detroit's going to – and listen, I feel bad for them because I think they could possibly go and lose next week, and what a disaster for Detroit if they go and lose next week in the first round after being in the position they were in all year. A train wreck right there. So we'll see.
I don't think so. I think Detroit, they start pushing it this year. I think Lamar starts making it this year. I think we're going to end up Ravens, Lions, Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a good one. I think that's what we're getting this year.
So I'm going to watch the Red Zone. It's the Red Zone final week for the best host in television as far as I'm concerned, the Red Zone.
Yep,
and
100%.
Right? Best host. That's such a hard job, and he's just perfect with it. He's the best. So enjoy the games, everybody. 1 o'clock, kickoff week 18 in the NFL. It's the final week. So next week we got Wild card weekend. Some of the best weekends, divisional weekend. The playoffs are here. That does it for us. For Brett Grasso, I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. See ya.